You're now tuned in at the livest hip-hop show on Friday nights at Off the Cuff Radio. And I got my man T-Max in the building.
What it do from the 757, another Friday night live with OTC and a place to be, man. What it do. Sponsored by Da Vinci Clothing and, of course, Buddy Boy Entertainment. And shout out to our host, Good Spirit, Ilar the Sandman, and Lady Chinchilla, representing Texas, and King. We got a very, very, very special guest tonight with us. Please tell our audience who he is.
Hey, I got to say this. After many delays, we finally have him on the line. This man has been a heavy part of the Rap-A-Lot Records dynasty, an enforcer and true ear to the streets. Let's all put respect on his name and let's welcome OG Spook to the show, y'all. You on, brother?
Yeah.
Hold on. We go ahead and try to bring him back in. Hold on 1 second. Let's bring him back on.
All right. We gonna get him.
You on, brother?
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Hey,
what's up,
man? I already know that we've been trying to get this thing done, but I know it's been a conflict of interest in our schedules, but then I had to make this happen tonight.
Man, we appreciate you so much.
You, brothers.
Definitely, man. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
We had Big Swift representing the Rap-A-Lot crew, and look, now we got you, man. So it's like, look, we got love, for y'all down there in Houston, man.
Yeah, Swift, my man. Yeah, that's my man, old Swift. Swift got a few things he done, put together. So I know if y'all had him on the show, then I know that was real interesting. I wouldn't mind sitting back and trying to hear some of that.
It was. I think when he was on the show, he was actually in the middle of a little kickback get-together and whatnot, but he still made time for us, man, and we were so grateful. I guess we're going to get right to it. Spook, the name Rap-A-Lot represents a regal dynasty of Southern dominance in hip-hop in terms of being, or one could arguably say in the historical context, the first true down south label that would ultimately birth others like, of course, Cash Money and No Limit afterwards. So to interview you is not only an honor and a privilege, it is also a history lesson as well, because there's, this individual, who's like a legend, we affectionately and respectfully call him the old man, Jay Prince. To watch, I mean, just tell us about yourself and just about how you eventually clicked up with the crew, past, present, and just, about that whole history of, how everything came to fruition with everything.
So it wasn't nothing that I was brung into.
Mm-hmm.
Since it was just a seed, from a thought.
Right.
And that's just like, when you sitting up at the table, you like, man, I'm thinking about starting a record company. And you like, man, what we know about a record company? You like, shit, what we know about anything else? And that was that was the thought from, and he just went from there, man. It was just how you say birth of a nation. It was just a birth of a nation. So that, and it was just, started from a baby, man, from a seed, and then it just, took legs
and just ran with it. Now I picked up Prince's book last year, The Art and Science of Respect, and to to read those words, to feel the vivid description of it, because this was not only his journey, this was all of y'all's journey in terms of it. So you were in the trenches with him throughout the duration, and it's pretty much, and here on Off the Cuff, as you know, King, myself, Hello the Sandman, a Lady Chinchilla, we always pride ourselves on sticking to the facts and also just going by what has already been documented. We don't ever, go into the tabloid, express. We know, Prince wrote about his time in the streets in terms of what he was doing and how he just felt like he needed to make that change. What was the challenges in terms of making that transition from the street game to the corporate game in terms of music for all of you?
Well, to me, from my experience, I can't, speak on the next man's experience of his transition from the streets to the corporate world. It's like when you're in the streets, you already have a business sense. So
right.
You just take those business senses that you have and try to apply those street sense to a business, but you got to understand the things that you do in the streets, you can't take it there because some of it won't fit. But then that journey could kind of be, it can be a slower process because you're used to things going fast. So with me, it's like when I came in, when I really started diving into the music industry, it's just certain parts that I wanted. I ain't want nothing but the street team part, because I know that was my title, National Street Team Director. So my thing, I can deal with everybody as long as I'm, the street team director. I can deal with radio, college radio, local video shows, retail, club promoters, cafe promoters. I just wanted to stay close as I could to the streets, because that's how back then, that's how we sold our music. We didn't really rely on radio. So, we just was, bang the streets, beat the streets, flyer campaigns, poster campaigns. Wherever you see some Rap-A-Lot merchandise, a Rap-A-Lot product. So this is that's my journey. When I left the streets and came into the music industry, I wanted to stay close to the streets. And that's why I knew that was my strength. I wouldn't take accountant and try to make him here marketing promotions. So, you just find your strengths in this, and that's where you want to be at. So that was my transition, keeping the strengths that I have and applying them in the areas that I knew was needed.
Definitely. Now, you being the head of the street team, and me and King and everyone, we talk about it on and off the air about what it takes in terms of finding, just really finding that vein on the block to really make it hot out there. And from your firsthand experience, because you were directly with it, because people don't understand a lot of times the grassroots in terms of what it is, where you really have to touch the people hand to hand in terms of really moving your product, especially when you're up and coming and just trying to, market the music. What were, in terms of it, and do you think pretty much today, do you think that's kind of missing in hip hop in terms of the promotions, where that organic type of growth is missing in reference to how the music is being pushed?
Yes, most definitely. I think it's most definitely missing because people is solely relying, man, on social media. Right. And not knowing that you got so many, you still got these same guys that play music. You got these same people that want to still have something physically belong to you in their hand to say, man, I got this from, you know what I'm saying? And the visibility is gone. You got to think about those who, even though everybody have a phone, how many people would never get to see you or hear you because they'll miss you because you just solely relying on social media versus getting in the streets, going to getting with these local DJs, and these, these club DJs, because you got DJs now, their head and got so big to certain music and certain records they not going to play, man. So you got to get to what we used to do. We'll go to, I'll start a record off dealing with just record pools and cafes, and people start hearing this record, they be like, man, where you get that record from? How you get, and you'll start making people play records on the strength of they don't have the record. And that's how, and a lot of times, that's how we made radio play records, because the streets is playing these records.
Right. And that's something that more than anything, I think a lot of artists don't understand, because the streets are the lifeblood, in terms of what hip-hop actually represents, because it came from the streets, in the late 70s, to now. It's always been a voice, rap, rhythm and poetry, the 5 elements of hip-hop, DJ and B-boy and breakdance, rhyming, graffiti, and, of course, most importantly, knowledge of the culture in general. So it is of the utmost imperative when you're dealing with these matters is, in terms of understanding the music, really being able to know that the streets make or break you. And we've seen a lot of artists over the years, who thought they had the streets, but then they found out that it wasn't, that their lock on it wasn't as solid as they thought it was. To listen to this story thus far, man, it's like you all really, 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 hit the ground running in terms of really making sure that this was something that, y'all knew was going, that y'all were going to make work one way or the other.
Oh, it had to work. It had to work, because it was just so much blood, sweat, and tears put into that. It was a lot put into trying to get that thing to where it was to, it had to work. Wasn't no ifs, ands, buts about it. And, when you put together the right people and put them in the right position, man, then, like they say, teamwork make the dream work.
Exactly.
Everybody had a role. Everybody had a role to play. Everybody had a position. So it wasn't like I'm trying to do radio and that ain't my strength. Or I'm trying to do marketing, promotions, and that's not the area I should be in. You get in the area and you apply yourself to what your strength is. That's the key, I think, to putting together anything, is that you find people, the people that's down with you, they got to know their role.
Definitely.
And if they don't know their role, and you got a dude who, you got an artist trying to take a picture, but you got the street promoter, he trying to be the artist. No, it ain't you can't shine. It ain't on you to shine, man. You promoting somebody, they got to shine. Now that's how you get paid.
Spook, I'm laughing.
People,
you probably I'm laughing because you probably know what I'm thinking of when you said that.
That's just how people is, man, and they'll want to be, play your role.
Right.
You just got to play your role, man.
That's true.
Some people just aren't meant to drive point guard. Sometimes you just got to be the center. You just got to be the power.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's true.
Then you can be the sixth man. Just know what you got to do when you get in the game.
Hey, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, you got to know what to do when you get in the game. That's just like, man, you can't be everywhere at one time. But then when you got people that you select to do things for you, you got to make sure they doing their job. That's just like, man, when we started the street team, we was like sitting in the marketing meeting. So we're going to pick 21 of our hottest markets.
Right.
And I had to find somebody to hire in each market. So that, that was a process that I had to go through of getting it done. But when I hired you, don't think for 1 minute I wasn't finna come out there to see was you doing your job. Because the job had to be done, and I wanted done. I wanted it done just like I did it in Houston. So if I got a something working for me in Houston, I think it'll work in Dallas. I think it'll work in Austin. I think it'll work in Chicago. I think it'll work in Cleveland. But the work got to be done.
Definitely.
And by forming your own team, I can understand that concept. And what people don't know, because I'm glad to have you on the show, is the Ghetto Boys. They're pretty much a cornerstone in what hip-hop is. These guys, they changed the landscape of hip-hop forever, but what people don't fail to realize that they actually thinking, especially this generation today, they thinking that it's been Bushwick, Willie D, and Face. But you care to tell us that the Ghetto Boys was actually different members in this when they started?
Oh, yeah. You had Ready Red, Johnny C, Jukebox. You know, and Bushwick came along later. Then you also had his brother who was who the label was named after, Sir Rap-A-Lot.
Yeah.
You know, and it went from them to then they brought in Face. Then
who was known as Action.
Who was known as Action at the time. You know, and then that's when it came with Face, Will, and Bill after Prince Johnny C. He no longer wanted to rap the lyrical contents that was being rapped. So that's why he went on to a solo mission, and you know, and things just didn't turn out the way he wanted it to turn out on his solo mission, because at the time he didn't want to rap like that no more. You know, but Ready Red was still the DJ. Then all of a sudden, people just start having different ideas of how they think things should be. And and that's what the change of the group. But then the whole direction the focus had to be the same. The direction had to be, we had to still keep going in the same direction, and and it worked. Then we had to change from ghetto to ghetto. We had to change the name to becoming the owner of the name. Because Webster thought they owned that name, so we just changed it from GHETTO to GETO into owning the name. So it was a lot of changes. That's why I say it was a process, a lot of different processes that we went through at the time that people didn't really see. But man, it was a struggle. But then that anytime you keep struggling and keep struggling, and then you're gonna come out on top. It's like whipping cream. You just got to keep trying to rise to the top. But then once you get that first hit, all you got to do is get you a hit record, man. And that's what I try to tell young artists today. They go in the studio today and just be making records. I say, man, you got to sit down and try to come up with you a hit record.
True that.
And that hit record was Mind Playing Tricks on Me, which could be heard in like 30 years later. You could even hear it in The Simpsons right now. That's how big that record is.
Yeah.
Now,
so what was the reaction when you guys? What was the reaction when you guys finally got that hit record? Like, what was the immediate reaction when you finally heard it was blowing up?
Man, something about how music is and how it do your soul. When we heard that record, the first time I ever heard that record being put together, and we knew that was a hit record. Because there's certain records you don't have to play but one time.
Right.
And that was the record that's first time you hear that record and you play that record, if it don't change the mood or the dynamic of the crowd or make you feel a certain way, you know that's a hit record when you get a record like that.
Definitely. Now, Spook. Also, too, while we're having this discussion, of course, we want to send a shout out, rest in peace, DJ Ready Red, of course. Now, as King said, Mind Playing Tricks on Me off the We Can't Be Stopped album in 1991 was definitely the song that kicked the door down. But we got to take it back a couple of years prior to with that Grip It on Another Level released in 1988. And that was
man,
the hardest I heard of my life.
But see when it but any of those records, I got to look at any of those records back then.
Right.
Man, all of them had some classic music on them.
Yes, they did.
All of them had classic music. All of them had classic music, but when you look at the hit, that's just like it's another record that we knew was gonna be a solid record when Face got this record started out, Small Time Dope Game Cocaine. We knew that was gonna be a record that's gonna be time. You're gonna hear this record forever.
Right.
Because when we played that record, that was one of the best club records that we ever put out.
Right.
When they called him Mr. Scarface, Mr. Scarface is back.
Man, ooh, that was.
Now that record there, we knew that was gonna be a powerful record.
Yeah.
So we can go down the list of records that were strong records, but at the time, we wasn't getting a lot of love for radio. We were just commanding the streets.
Yeah.
Cause we had, if you just go look back at a lot of rap-a-lot records that were been played on the radio, them was hit records. We had a lot of hit records, but radio, they just didn't. We didn't go gold and platinum off of radio. We went gold and platinum off the streets.
Yeah, and there was also a couple of little shows by the name of Rap City and Yo MTV Raps, of course. It was like that was for us, our hip hop Bible, of course, with the Source magazine. I was a youngin, back in the day, so I was like 10 years old when the Source actually started. So I was too young to really understand all of that. But for a lot of the older heads, out there, niggas was reading it and they was like, that's, as you said, once you got the streets and that word spreads, that becomes the news that everybody wants to hear. Like, yo, who these dudes, down from Texas who making all this noise, you know what I'm saying, like really making waves in the game. And of course, videos, or, and just, and just everything, that came after, that really, really helped push the promo in terms of, more exposure.
Yeah.
I remember when the video dropped for Mind Playing Tricks on Me, and that is still one of the most powerfully crafted. I mean, dog, this is like back in the day when you shot a video. This actually meant something to shoot a video. Like, you actually took the time to figure out what you wanted to convey in the song. And when you listen to the lyrics and the song itself, the song is about street life and the inherent paranoia, that comes with it. So you're watching the video and you're seeing these things from, Bushwick, Willie D and Scarface basically rapping from their, from a point of view, of a hustle in the street, but still, that paranoia overtakes them, you know what I mean? Especially, Bushwick on the last verse, where he says it was dark as death on it was dark as death on the street, my hands all bloody from punching on the concrete.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
Yeah, see, them was, a lot of, we had a lot of storylines to where you can, you can see what actually you could kind of see yourself in these lyrics. You
right.
know, and it was kind of like if you do a video to it was easy to write a treatment to things like that because it's already a story being told. Now you just got to write you got to write the treatment for the story.
Right.
And so, you know, and that's a lot of songs back then had storylines to them versus just, you know, you just talking. You know, you sit down and write, you know, have a vivid imagination about life. You know, when you have a vivid imagination about life, it was easy to put it on paper.
Right.
Just like if I ain't a rapper and you the street dude and I sit down and I go to telling you how my day went today. And then you can rap about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Now as y'all saw the label really taking off, there's the key word in business, expansion. Tell us about, you know, because Ghetto Boys were the first act. Tell us about moving on, because we got so much to cover. Tell us about what it was like when y'all started expanding in terms of finding, you know, other artists, because, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you from the beginning about. What is it like trying to find artists that you know will fit the bill for your vision in terms of what you're trying to do?
At that time, man, we had already had a lot of artists just ready to come out to shoot. And if you look back, it was like we probably put out in 1 month 4 acts in 1 month.
Right.
You know, and everybody, and all these acts might not go gold or platinum, but each one of those acts may sell a couple of 100,000 units apiece. But finding new acts, you know, when we out in the streets, people gonna come up to you. They gonna give you their material, or they gonna rap freestyle for you. It's always was gonna be a way that this talent don't get lost. And they used to send so much material to our office. We always just sit up and listen at. If we didn't like the rapper, we might like the producer.
Right.
So, you know, that's how that worked. If the rapper didn't sound good, the music may sound good. If the music didn't sound good, the artist may sound good. But then it was always back then, man, and I don't think that changed today to finding new talent, but the talent just ain't being, they not putting themselves out there to me like they should, like artists did in the past. You know, you'll run up on an artist today, and they'll want you to listen at their material. You be like, man, let me hear something. Oh man, I can't rap for you right now. You know, an artist back then. Yeah, man, and artists back then, man, they was like, okay, let me drop this on you. And they just keep you. They'll have you there so long, you be like, man, when he gonna finish? So it was like artists back then. That's how we was finding artists. It was more time they were finding us than we finding them. So that's why, man, we had so many acts. If you look at the Rap-A-Lot catalog, you know, it just went on and on and on. And each one of those acts, man, they had something to bring to the table.
Now, when you talk about
what
producers,
was dope about those albums?
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah, what I was gonna say, what was dope about those albums, well, y'all had a great mixture of everything. Like y'all had the horrorcore, which had Gangsta Nip, and of course you had Bushwick. He was bringing that to the mix, and then you had the Convicts,
yeah,
the Fifth Ward Boys. I mean, y'all had a great mixture and a great balance of acts. And a part of that, this would lead into the question here, because at that time where hip-hop was boom, you know, it was like generating, like it was blowing up. It also came a time where America eventually wasn't feeling it, and y'all probably was caught in the epicenter of that free speech battle. Because, you know, you had the government versus hip-hop, and they was he was upset the way y'all was preventing y'all vision. So how was the situation then? Like, did y'all feel a lot of that pressure when you was making those records?
Well, man, when you independent, you don't even care about that. When you're independent, you putting your own capital behind your music. You putting your money where your mouth is. You don't have nobody, no big machine telling you, we can't put this out. We can't do this. We can't. When you got your own capital behind your music, man, we ain't never cared about none of that. And we put it out there, and that's just like you had a guy kill a state trooper and saying he was listening at a Scarface song at the time. So you gonna get that backlash. Some publicity, some negative publicity was good publicity, but some negative publicity was unwarranted. So, we never really cared about how the government feel, how Reverend Calvin Butters, whatever dude name back at the time, was talking about running over rap music with whatever kind of machine that was. Yeah. So it was all kind of, back then you had all kind of backlash, but them was just the people that have never been to the ghetto, have never felt people pain, who was putting their pain into music. That's why I used to tell people, and they never, knew why you said. I said, man, you don't know how black people live. What you mean by that? And cause they ain't never been down here.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Now, in terms of it, Spook, let's give our listeners, a little bit of the history of the groups, that y'all had. Call number is 1-619-924-0703. This is Off the Cuff Radio, sponsored by Da Vinci and Buddy Boy Entertainment. We are on live and direct with Rap-A-Lot's very own OG Spook. Now, in terms of this, I mean, Spook, the history y'all have with some of these artists is just unbelievable. I mean, everybody from Raheem with the Vigilante in 1988, of course, the Ghetto Boys, Making Trouble. I mean, Royal Flush. I mean, going to 89 when you have, I was off by a year, when they dropped the Grip It on Another Level. Then, of course, Willie D dropped his Controversy. Then we get into the 90s, with OG Style, Big Mike. I mean, Gangsta Nip, The Terrorists, Too Much Trouble. Seagram. I mean, Tulo in the 90s. I mean, Tim Smooth, Black Monk. I mean, the
Choice.
The history y'all have is just unbelievable in terms, and I mean, even going further, Papa IQ, CJ Mack, I mean, Devin the Dude, Almighty RSO, man,
you name it, acts that I almost forgot about.
Roy Jones Jr.
You naming some acts, man, that, and you naming acts, a lot of them were slept on.
Man,
that's why I talk about radio. Some of those acts that you naming were slept on because they had some material that really needed to be heard, but their records kind of got lost in the sauce.
But now there was. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying some of those, just thinking about some of those artists that you named and how they records got lost in the sauce, how radio, we couldn't get radio behind them, and then we got so many hot acts at the time. Some of the smaller acts would get swallowed up, not taken away from their music. It was timing, a lot of timing, and a lot of acts that the timing wasn't right for them.
Right. Matter of fact, when we get off the air too, I'm going to send some stuff to King to send to you, because I think you're going to be bugged out when you see it, because I got a lot of history some memorabilia in terms of magazine clippings, and a couple of albums. And it's like, I'm getting ahead of myself, but Spook, now there is one particular individual, because when you talk about producers, we have to give it up because you all gave this man, who is one of the all-time great producers, his opportunity. You know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about the maniac, bad man on the boards, Mike Dean.
Oh, yeah. When Mike Dean when I first Mike Dean, he was just the engineer.
Right.
He was the engineer. Mike Dean was good at putting together studios.
Right.
He wasn't even a producer at the time. But then Mike Dean just sit up, man. He just soaked up so much game, man, to look at him today. And that just come from, being resilient, man. Cause the man, I'm telling you, Mike Dean used to put together studios. And Mike Dean was the engineer. This man used to stay up so long, so many hours engineering, till we had to make him go home, go to bed. But then by the time he get a check, the numbers were so big. So that's why he used to sit up under that board the way he did. I believe Mike Dean used to sit under that board till his ears bleed, man.
Look,
That's
I think him and Dre,
I
think him and Dre are in competition for who spends the most hours in the studio.
Yeah, because the man used to 3, 4, 5 days at a time, man. I used to like, man, when do you sleep? I just bloodshot red. He'd be like, man, you need to go home and get some rest, man.
Now, there's one particular...
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's like that Mary Jane beat. That's one of the most incredible beats I ever heard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, but that dude had an incredible ear for sampling in terms of beats, man. I mean, like King said, that Mary Jane beat, was just unbelievable how he managed to put that together. I mean, but that was just, I mean, who would have thought, who just would have thought, of using that sample for that?
Man. I'm talking about, and it's a lot of songs that we put out. I didn't know where the sample came from until I'd be riding and listening to some old school music. I'd be like, that's where he got that from. But then a lot of times they'll have the sample, but you know how you can twerk it and change something about it where you won't have to pay for it. Because some of those samples, that's what you had to do. So a lot of them people, they were like, nah, you can't use that. No, you can't use that. So you got to change up a little something about it, where you can be able to use it. But, and a lot of that, that's where a lot of that come from, man. You just got to have an old soul, the way you can listen to that old music and just hear a piece of a drum line. Be like, yeah, I can use that drum line right there. I can use that chorus or something. But, that's just how some of those producers we had, like Beto. Man, Beto was one of the dopest producers ever worked at, and he was with us from day one, too. And Beto was one of the dopest producers I ever heard. And that was one of the Ghetto Boys. One of the Ghetto Boys' favorite producers, one of Scarface at the time favorite producers, John Beto. So I got to pay homage to Beto, man. Beto, one for Beto, man. It was a lot of time, man. Beto come through with some, with that jungle funk as he called it.
Now, what were some of your favorite Rap-A-Lot albums? Like when you because I know you was there for a minute, and out of all those periods, what was your favorite period?
I think my favorite period was the beginning, man. Just just birthing. How you starting something and birthing it from the beginning and just watching it grow. I think the beginning was my best period because, that was the hard part. As things went on, it got easy. And I always been one that, like to be challenged. And I would like to go out and, try to make things happen and see if I can make it happen. But then it got to a point to where once we got to a certain level, some things was automatic. So I think my greatest point is, watching, when we had, like you say, that Grip It on the Other Level project, the Baby Ghetto Boys, Raw Flush, OG Style. Back then, things wasn't easy back then, and I was just, more on the street side of things versus, me being just in the office every day. It took me a while before I started just going into, sitting in the office every day because I just felt like that wasn't my role. Then I started having to go in the office every day once things started to get so big. But other than that, I think the beginning was my what I liked it the most. Just watching it grow to be what it was and what it still is today. Cause the young boys got it now.
Definitely. Now, Spook, earlier I kind of was remiss on the Mary Jane that King was speaking on because I was thinking of actually another song. Mike Dean still produced this, but it was Going Down. That was off the 1994 Diary album. And it was Going Down where he sampled that 99 Luck Balloons by Nina from 1983 because I was thinking of a different track at the time. But, but it's samples. But also, too, there was also another record that I wanted to ask you about, and a lot of heads give him a lot of grief, and I agree that he didn't always make the best decisions at certain levels about how he handled certain things, but I wanted to ask you about Benzino and the Almighty RSO album, Doomsday Forever RSO, which I actually have, and I first heard about them in 1993 and saw the video, and I know they ran into some issues in terms of having some industry, issues, being blackballed, and you all were the ones to put that album out. How did that come to pass with them?
I think Dave Mays played a part in that.
Who was co-founder of the Source with John Schechter.
Yeah, because they both was they was like really on the cool business partners. And people really didn't know that Benzino was, down with the Source magazine at the time. So, and I think it was that record. I think he had a record with, what is her name? Was married to Biggie.
Say Evans, you could be my boo.
Evans, you could be my boo. Yeah. Was she on the record? I think she was on the record with him.
Yes, she was. I have it. Yes, I have that album. I have it on CD. Now there's a bonus. I don't have the cassette, but there is a bonus track on the cassette, and this is just random, trivia. That's called "Don't Know Her Name," but that's not on the CD. But the CD I do have, and that was that video because the album came out in 1995, 96, I believe. It came out in 1996, I believe, because that also had a song called "The War Is On" with Mobb Deep. The album was, I know Benzino doesn't have the best reputation with a lot of people, but the album was dope. And RSO had they had spitters on that squad.
Yeah, they
Tony
did.
Rome, Cool Jesus, Jeff 2 Times, all those guys. Yeah.
I think that's how that came into fruition. I think the Source magazine had some type of connection with that. I can't be 100% on how that deal came about, but I'm thinking Dave Mays played a part in it.
Right.
But I know that record has something to do with one of the main records. I thought, like I said, I think Faith Evans was on one of those records we were trying to push, man.
I remember because there was even a video for that. The You Could Be My Boo. Yeah, there was a video for that. Yes, I remember that distinctly. And it was a hot track. Definitely. But that's definitely a time in terms of the '90s where and I don't know, man. It's just so different now in terms of the feel because the just the musicality of it. I'm still thinking back to 1994 when Tulo had his album, Funky Little Brother, man. You had the, the Juveniles, G-Town, Fifth Ward Juveniles, G-Town Groove.
Oh, yeah.
It's Boys.
Man.
Yeah, you know what? I want to ask him this one here. I want to ask him this one here. That PWA video, one of the greatest rap videos I ever seen. Me as a youngster, I wish I was a part of that so bad. What was it like being over there?
Verse 1 or verse 2? Video 1 or video 2? We had 2 videos of that.
Because they showed that thing at the box one night, and I was like, man, I need to get me some dough and fly out there to Texas.
You must ain't never seen the uncut version of that.
I did.
Oh, okay, yeah. We had an uncut version to that. The uncut version was like people want to see the uncut version more than the cut version. And at the time, like being my homeboy OG Dewey, who had Underground Records, and I had Circle Management, and if we knew that video, people was gonna be out selling that video the way they was, we would have sold that video ourselves. We wouldn't have just used it for a promotional item. Cause everywhere we went, to the Tapper, to the Crawfish Festival, to anything they had that were a crowd of people was at, somebody was selling that video. And if we had any idea that people gonna sell that video like that, we could have sold that video ourselves. And they were selling porn. That's how loud that video was, man. But we had fun shooting that video. And the record today, man, they still playing that record in every club that I've been in. They still play that record. Before you leave that club, you're gonna hear Pussy, Weed, and Alcohol.
Man,
tell my audience, like, y'all do y'all Googles and look that video up. You gonna see some dimes up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What I just don't. Whatever happened to the artist video? Y'all had like look. I remember when Big Mike, did his joint Having Things, having Pimp C, and y'all had the cars. Y'all had the girl. Everything was just a good time in it, man. Of course. And dude, we cannot forget Scarface's Let Me Roll. We knew what time it was.
Yeah.
We saw the smoke coming out of that van.
Yeah. Man, those were the days, man, when you can put together good music and just have fun doing it. You just have fun doing things back then. Now, if you go to a video set or different gatherings today, you never know what's gonna pop off sometimes. Cause it's so much disunity versus unity when it comes to the communities now. It's like that's the only way I think this thing gonna come back together and it's gonna be back right again. Is that other artists gonna have to start helping each other and respecting each other.
Right.
Showing them that some of the stuff that's going on, man, that ain't correct. That's why I tell people when I come out of retirement, I'm coming out of retirement, and they ain't probably some gonna like it and some ain't, cause they're not. I ain't gonna tell you that something sound good when it's whack.
Right.
You know, and I don't think people being honest with a lot of artists today. You know, and they pushing stuff that, you know, that man, you know that ain't going nowhere, but you getting paid off. It just seems like everybody want to get paid off stuff that you shouldn't be getting paid off of. You know, versus telling the artist, man, you need to work you need some more work, man. You know, you ain't ready yet. You know, you wasting your money.
Definitely.
Now, you being a veteran of this, and you being a part of street promotions, and you seeing how these records work, and you seeing how artists they come in the studio, they self-destruct, or they just don't have bad luck. Where do you see the game going real south?
Well, I just see. I think everybody's trying to sound the same. You know, I ain't saying. You know, we look for originality. I don't think nobody want to be original no more. You know, if you listen at it, if half the music I listen at, sometime I have to ask, man, who is that? Cause he sound like him versus. You know, everybody almost sounding the same. They call it, you know, mumble rapper, but I don't call it that. I just, you know, it is what it is. Everybody sounding the same. And I don't think people really putting a lot of creativity in their music, because that's why sometimes you get some artists, man, they'll get one good record and can't get now another one, because, you know, they can't just keep coming back with the next hit. Seems like they got lucky with that one record. So, you know, I think it's going south because everybody's, you know, following trends, man. It's so much, the stuff is so trendy today. You know, and people don't want to, I don't think different artists want to, you know, be original. You know, you got to be original, man, and that's what's going, I think that's what's going to get a lot of artists to what they trying to get when people can hear you and say, man, he sound like himself. And when you hear him, you know who that is. So I think that's where a lot of music going south at.
You know, and it's funny, Spook, because when we listen to because a lot of people give the South grief, but I'm like, you know, you all, and of course later on, you know, DJ Screw, you know, and then, of course, Outkast. We can't leave them out of it, you know. I mean, you know, y'all were pretty much, and, you know, of course, Master P, you know, even though he didn't really hit hard until the mid-'90s, you know, late 90s, but y'all were like, even from the South, y'all had your own distinct style of hip-hop, you know, that was really, you know, that was really unique. I mean, you had Outkast with an eclectic gumbo of, you know, music, you know, with organized noise on live instrumentation and everything. I mean, you all had a lot of that live instrumentation as well, with a lot of that soul, you know, with the gangster, you know, with a gangster tip on it. You know, Master P, you know, brought his Bay Area influence from his time spent in Richmond, California, you know, and melded it with that New Orleans bounce, you know, and, you know, created his sound. But all of you had something that separated yourselves from everybody else. And I guess now and then also, too, like you said, you know, we had Marley Marl on the show about a month and a half ago, and he was telling us about, not Marley Marl, MC Shan, my mistake. We had MC Shan on the show, and Shan was telling us about how back in the day, you know, a lot of these, you know, labels, you know, however, you know, hip-hop as a whole was starting, that it was all independent. You know, we were doing it ourselves. We were free of corporate influence. And now we got too much corporate influence.
Oh, yeah, cause
corporate
people I don't think they want to work no more, man. You know, and I don't think artists, but then this what I'm looking at today is
right.
Like we done so much for artists so they didn't have to do nothing but show up for whatever we put together for them.
Right.
And you got artists now, they use their phone in the same manner. And it's not a lot of work from this phone. If that's work for you, it work for you. But man, to me, you got to get out and touch, and you got to be touchy-feely in this business. That way, when people see you, they can be genuine with you.
Right.
You know, if you ain't being genuine, you know, and I've come to you every time. I just come to you when I want you to do something for me versus, you know, building a relationship. You know, sometimes a lot of relationships is not being built. So when you come to people, that's why they be like, man, give me extra. I never see you. They got DJs, you know, and that's all they want these artists to do is pay them, but then they don't play their record unless they see them. You know, and that's why I ask artists sometimes when they be asking me, you know, OG, man, what you think about whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop and about paying different people. And I ask them, I say, man, well, ask him what's the last record he broke.
Right.
So if you ain't never broke no record, you ain't break records, then why you bothering people about their money? If you just playing records cause the radio playing them or mainstream playing them, these records are already hot. When have you took an artist, actually had a hit record, and you broke that record?
Exactly.
And this what DJs used to do. They used to break records.
Exactly. Now, go ahead.
And that's my thing with you know, with the industry, man. It's like, you know, you ain't breaking records. You know, you just playing mainstream music. You're not showing the hometown. If you're not showing love at home, you know, and I be telling artists sometimes, you know, in this business, man, you got to have a business sense. You got to have a knack to see what's going on. And if you can't see what's going on, you're trying to be the artist and the manager and the producer. You trying not to have you not trusting nobody. If you can't trust nobody to help you get to where you trying to get, man, you're gonna be traveling on a long road. And I don't think young artists today, they don't want to trust nobody. They got to start trusting somebody if they want some help.
I think it's also a case of these guys. They just want a lot of what the new terminology is called clout, meaning like attention. Like they rather get attention than sell records.
Oh, yeah. And I asked the man, when they talking about you got to have so many followers, that I say, man, how could you turn that into money? I say, you got to be able to come off that followers thing, and how would you turn that into money? You can have all these followers and be broke. Oh, I got 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 followers, 100-some thousand followers, but you ain't got $25. So how could you turn that into money?
Exactly.
That's what happened with Boosie. When that's a prime example, because he was going off on his fans. Like, he has about 5 million followers, and I think he sold like 300 copies of his album. So that's like the harsh reality that a lot of artists are witnessing right now. Like, they got to really hit ground turf.
Yep. That's what I'm telling you, man. You got to. If you can't turn that into money, don't mean nothing. If you got all them followers and you somewhere and they don't show up to support you, then you know what is that saying?
Definitely. You know, and when King mentioned that, we're by no means taking shot at Boosie at all. We're just speaking about the paradigm of the industry in terms of, you know, what is happening, because, you know, we see a lot of artists who, you know, who may have a song that's, you know, there's a difference between an artist who's not that good and has a song on YouTube that's got a lot of views, but as you said, that doesn't translate into real fans in terms of, like, it's just people watched it. It's like with New Age Jerk Boy, when he had that song a couple years ago, Married to the Game. And, I mean, the video got a lot of views basically because he was acting like a total jackass in it. But it's like, does that mean? I mean, a grown ass man wearing a wedding dress in a video, putting an AK in his mouth like he's sucking a dick. I mean, you know, come on now. Yes, I said it on the air. Yeah,
these guys, man, they do whatever for clout these days, man.
Man, see, that's that buffoonery.
Right.
You know, that's that buffoonery shit stuff, man. It's like, you know, dudes today, like you say, for clout, man, it's like where the realness done went to. You know, this thing done went so far left to what it would take to straighten it out. Which artist, who gonna have something, you know, people so want to be today so politically correct about what they say and how they do things man, that's why I tell people it's a difference between old school and OG.
Right.
There's a difference in the two. Quit calling dudes OGs when they old school. Cause OG he ain't gonna bite his tongue. You know, he gonna tell you what's right and what's wrong. But old school, they don't know. They just live to get old.
Wow, that's deep.
You know, they just live to get old. OG, man, he done put in the work. So he should be guiding and telling and guiding and controlling. That way when things getting out of whack, hey, man, that ain't how they go, man. You need to put this thing back together. You need to, man, sit down somewhere. That's some clown shit you doing.
Right.
But then old school, they just gonna go along. They just live to get old, and dudes calling old school dudes OGs, man. And I look at them dudes. Why you calling them OG? He ain't done nothing to deserve that title. I say OG means something, and that's why I look at the way things is. Man, things messed up cause dudes done live to get old, and they done just gave themselves OG titles. And they instead of youngsters looking up to them, they really looking up to youngsters. When you see old dudes running with young dudes versus young dudes running with old dudes, the roles have been reversed.
Man, what is it? And what is it, Spook? You know, what's that old saying, Spook? We tell to the youngins, I've been your age. You haven't been mine. Yeah. I live to get my age. Man. You know, and that's why I'm telling you, the road.
I think it's also that social media gives people that false confidence because it used to be a time where if niggas go ahead and talk real crazy, you had to worry about, you had to see that man. Yeah, if you was pumping gas outside, you had to look over your shoulder. If you was at the grocery store, you had to make sure you could leave in one piece because you know if his man was going to hit you. But see, now it's like these guys, they live in that bubble. Oh, I can say what I want. I got all this clout. I got all this protection. I can say whatever I want. And I think that's where the shifting of the guard has changed because there's no repercussions. Not that we want violence or anything like that, but sometimes discipline is needed. Sometimes some people just need spanking.
Yeah, because it was show a line of respect. It was a line drawn in the sand. You know, it show a line of respect. Certain things people ain't going to say. Certain things people just wasn't going to do. You know, and that's just like here today. You know, just here today, people already know what you can and can't say by Rap-A-Lot Records, what you can and can't do. You know, and you got dudes who represent Rap-A-Lot Records that know that, hey, man, there's certain things, just because you screaming that, there's certain things you can't do. Certain things you can't say. You know, and people just don't have that respect no more. It's like, you know, some of these dudes, they can't think. You know, they just say whatever come to their head, but once it come out your mouth, you can't put it back in.
That's true. Now, Now, Spook, I wanted to ask you about this because, and by no means, and I know this is a very sensitive subject, but I wanted to ask this in the context because you all have, through the blood, sweat, and tears y'all put in, y'all have overcome a lot. During the 90s, y'all had that little incident, where, basically the government was trying to shut y'all down, trying to say that y'all operation was less, than legitimate. What were those times like, and how did y'all manage to persevere and ultimately, of course, with the help of Aunt Maxine Waters? Shout out to Aunt Maxine. We love you so much. How did y'all manage to navigate that situation during that time in the 90s?
Man, I did 17 years and 5 months behind that situation.
Oh, wow.
And y'all been home almost 4 years behind that situation.
Man,
and
that's crazy.
And the same laws who set me up on trial right now today.
Yeah.
They on trial right now today. A sucker named, a white boy named Chad Scott.
Yeah, that's FBI.
Yeah.
I think
that
that's
situation.
Right.
That
Go
situation
ahead.
That situation is like they want something so bad to where by any means necessary. There was 4 of us that got sent to jail on supposed to have been a theft. They would call it theft. But then you take a theft case and turn it into a possession with intent to distribute. You go to your evidence room, find some cocaine, put it in a cooler and plant it, and say that these individuals was trying to sell some dope. But the whole time it's an entrapment case. You got some people that's already been busted for something, trying to get you to help them do something illegal, and you, the government, take these people's word. Out of 4 of us, 2 people two of my co-defendants got acquitted. 1 got granted a new trial, got his case dismissed. I was the only one stayed in prison by myself on a conspiracy that's never heard of. That's just how bad they wanted me and Rap-A-Lot Records. So I was the sacrificial lamb for that situation. And here today, that's why here right now today, it just made me stronger. It ain't do nothing but make me stronger, because then one thing I know that, you in a place for a reason. And I stayed in prison 17 years for a reason.
Now
that I'm home.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm home,
ahead.
I done started 3 businesses since I've been home.
That's what it is. Now, and I want to make sure I get my facts straight because, as I said, I have Mr. Prince's book. Now, was that the case that you were caught up in, where they tried to tell you they were going to let you walk if you basically said that you were moving weight for him, even though that was not the case and that was not true?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
all right.
So you were the individual he was talking about in the book where, they were trying to get you to finger him for it. Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, that case. But the government, you got to realize, man, the government been doing that for a long time now.
Right.
They've been doing that to us for a long time now. So that ain't nothing new.
Definitely. We definitely just wanted to touch on that a little bit because we wanted to show, you all, it hasn't always been easy for y'all. But back to the brighter side of things, look at what y'all have done in terms of who you have birthed along the way. Lil Kiki, Salt Walker, Slipper, Paul Wall, Chameleonaire, Mike Jones, Trader Truth, y'all eventually signed, UG, Yeah, Swishahouse. Now we got to talk about the OGs as well, you know, and of course, giving a shout out, back, to the convicts. We have to say, rest in peace to 3-2 as well. And now we're going to go on to, UGK, Underground Kings. How did that happen when they eventually came on Rap a Lot with y'all?
Man, they had been wanting to be on Rap a Lot.
Mhm.
We had back in the day when they first done Pocket Full of Stone, they was on this other label. And
right.
they had so much going at the time, they just had so much, their name was on so much paperwork they just couldn't get them at the time. And then I think the dude who they had, the first cat they was on the label with, I think he ended up getting in trouble. Something happened with him, and they end on Priority Records. And they deal was just so tied up that back then, you was on, them people had you on yearly contracts versus, you was on yearly things versus, you was on yearly contracts versus album deals.
Right.
So they had like so many, either Jive, I think it was Jive or Priority.
It was, it was Jive.
One of the two.
Because
it was Jive.
It was Jive because what happened, because their first EP was The Southern Way, and that was basically a regional release. It was released in 1992. Now, when they did Pocket Full of Stones, that was their first. That was, of course, off the Too Hard to Swallow album in 1992, and then the remix would come on the Menace to Society track that was released in 1993.
Yeah, so they had. That's how that was a deal that should have been done.
Right.
That was a deal that should have been done years ago, but it just wasn't the right time. Like we say, time is everything. So when it happened, it happened. But that was UGK. I always have been really on the cool Rap a Lot family members, but they just wasn't on the label.
Right.
Because if you look back, they done stuff with Fifth Ward Boys. They done stuff with different artists on the label, but they just wasn't on the label.
Right.
Pimp C done a lot of production. You look back, Pimp done different productions on different projects. So, they always been family, but they just never was, on the label.
Right.
Yeah, they were basically affiliates.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep.
Now, in terms of the business aspect, because you all have been independent from the beginning, so you all have never had to reference to, how, in terms of getting label money, because y'all always had y'all money to do what y'all wanted. What do you see do you think a lot of artists right now, do you see a lot of artists from your perspective, guys like Sauce Walker, who's just killing it. I mean, shout out to the Sauce Father. But do you see a lot of artists that are still trying to get on with label deals, whereas maybe they should just try their independent hustle and just move from there with it?
Yeah, I you know what? I think artists think that's the right route to go, to do the label deals, because a lot of artists don't have the capital to really get out there and push themselves.
Right.
So the label deals, you ain't got capital, man. Capital, you got to have some cash, really, to try to get these things done that you need to get done. So
right.
Once they do so much independent stuff and start putting their money back into themselves versus go buy them a chain or go buy them a car, all that stuff should come last.
Right.
You take that money, man, and you invested. That's investment. You invested in yourself. And I don't know if artists understand that part of the business, man, once you get a piece of money, you don't go, 'cause you see the next artist driving this and driving that. Man, keep investing in yourself, 'cause that's what it's gonna take. It takes money.
Those are loans. They're not money to give out.
Oh yeah. That money, you got to put that money back into yourself. Even though you get these labor deals, depending on how that deal is structured, you're in a bad situation anyway, because they might tell you take this and, you and your lawyer go and discuss this. You go smoke some dro with your girl laying down and you okay, cool. And then you look up, you hollering about somebody that messed over you, and you didn't even go over what you supposed to go over with complete. Then here it is a year later. Oh, I don't want to be in this deal no more. Man, you signed the contract now.
I remember 50 Cent. Go ahead.
And that's where they mess up a lot too. They just, they they don't have enough intelligence, man. To handle those type of deals. That's why, and I'm gonna be 100 with you. It's a lot of deals that guys got back in the day on the strength of Jay Prince, cause they'll come to them with, what the people offering them, and he'll be like, hold up, let me look at that. He'll tell them, he'll guide them in the right direction how to get them people money. And it's a lot of cats that got paid on the strength of, the directions and the directive that he done gave. Because they don't have, a lot of guys, they don't have the smarts and the wits to go and deal with them, as we call them, Europeans. Because they really from Europe. You got these people with these labels, they not from here, they from Europe.
Yeah.
Them Europeans, man, and they know how these deals are set up, and they set up for themselves. And that's just like within the businessman, though. If you're a businessman, why would you not want the best deal for your company?
That's true.
It's just business. If you got a business, if you're gonna try to do the best deal for your company, so when things are not looking how you think it should look, you should have been negotiating better for yourself, because they negotiating for their company. So all that, we used to look at all of that, man. All that was, vital.
Now, Food, these next two questions I have for you, one is definitely a little bit sensitive. Another one is probably, not as touchy, because y'all were more than equipped to handle that. The situation that happened with 6ix9ine when he just, because I'm thinking about this because of what you said about how certain things you just don't say against rap a lot, because it goes to what King was saying about clout chasing and how the time Tekashi really, we're older, so we understand, and you're on the front line of it, so you really know. But when Tekashi started saying that stuff about, the old man's son, we were looking at each other like, this may not end well. Because I'm like, we like, Tekashi really don't know what he's talking about when you really want to take on these guys, with that situation. How did y'all pretty much, go about, having to let him know that this is not something, Rap-A-Lot is not, we're not toy soldiers, we're frontline platooners?
Yeah, some things ain't even to be discussed. You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Some of that stuff is like, some of that stuff happens the way it happened. And then sometimes, you got to backtrack. Some stuff is just, ain't even, dudes like them, I wouldn't even get them no airtime. You know what I'm saying? Some people I don't even get airtime to, because, you hang yourself.
That's true.
You hang yourself with some of the stuff you say and do, and then that's why I say some dudes got old schools around them instead of OGs. Because the OG already know, hey, man, don't tread there.
Exactly.
Leave that. Don't even go there, man. Leave that. That ain't we ain't even gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying is you couldn't have no old school, no OGs around you for you to be staying and trying to handle things like that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I said
not to mention those guys roll with so much police, man. Like you could tell they probably Donnie Brasco status on the low.
Now well, you already know what it is now. You already know what it is. You know, some things ain't got, some stuff you don't even have to discuss by people, man. You know
it's
that one.
Yeah, that's COINTELPRO in hip hop right there.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to
like, Prince ain't about to feed into that bullshit.
Shout out to Jazz, man. Shout out to Jazz Prince, man. We see you, young king, man, and we applaud you so much for not even entertaining that foolishness, man, because you know where your stock comes from and the roots that you're deeply, entrenched in, man, So y'all ain't have to, he didn't, play into it. The second part is a little bit more treacherous, and if you don't want to really get into detail with this one, I totally understand. Because this is also about how in business, at times, things don't always go according to plan in terms of where you think your allies ultimately not so much become your enemies, but there is a bit of a tension in reference to how the business was conducted. In terms of how the situation with Cash Money went in reference to, Drake, because Drake is family with y'all, in terms of, Mr. Prince has always emphasized emphatically Drake is one of us. And that business in reference to how sometimes things don't always go as they are agreed upon. What is just in general, what is your sentiments on how people are supposed to work together, but sometimes things don't go as such?
That's just the nature of this business, man. That's why I tell people sometimes this excuse my French, is legal fucking. And then people,
it's off the cuff. Say whatever you like.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me say this. Sometimes, people think this business is legal fucking.
Right.
You can take numbers and try to change the numbers. You can take different things and make it fit how you want to make it fit. But then all the time, man, that's like that other situation. Man, sometimes you got to understand who you dealing with. Everybody don't go. If you used to fucking people, everybody don't go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how we when we was in the streets. Everybody don't go. Cause sometimes you got to know who you dealing with, and that's another situation. You forgot who helped you get to where you got, and now this is the results. This is your pay. This is your way of saying thanks. Now and up the road, you want to not be fair, knowing you know better. You know better. Now I don't know about that other clown, but you know better.
Right. And the only reason, Spook, that I asked about that is because Mr. Prince spoke about that in the book. Because he makes it no secret that he is not satisfied with Birdman's, lack of ethics in reference to how that situation was handled in terms of, Jazz most notably, because Jazz was the one that brought Drake to them, to Cash Money, Young Money, about how basically Jazz was stiffed on his money. And, of course, he's and basically just family money in general, what is owed to all of them. Mr. Prince is not he was not happy about that at all, about that money that's supposed to be owed to all of them.
That's why I say that Clout. That's why I'm saying, man, he knew better to try that.
Right.
So I don't know what he thought was gonna happen. What he thought he gonna get a pass or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. I guess he thought, well, since we all right, and I'm gonna get. No, you don't get no pass, man. You gonna get what you got coming. Justice gonna take its course. That's just how that is, man. Justice. You don't understand the definition
I'm also like
of
to call
justice.
it the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe make it take its course.
Oh, yeah. That's justice. When you're being unjust, justice gonna take its course. That's how we looking at things. And that's the definition of justice. How we define justice, a whole nother definition. So just
But definitely, but like you said, you let the business, in terms of courts play out, let them lawyers handle it, because they, y'all already know what's there in terms of how things were supposed to be taken care of. So it's a long process, the little that I know about the situation, obviously, you all have more intimate knowledge of the business arrangements that were supposed to transpire. But, I know y'all are more than capable and have the legal team that is going to make sure that this is rectified in a timely manner. Now, how do you, when you look back at everything that, you have achieved, what you've overcome, what you've done, and still, God bless, are going to do, what do you really see in the future in terms of helping, move the culture forward, in terms of helping the young brothers really, really, really get an understanding of what it means to not only make music and recognize their dream, but also to leave behind a lasting legacy, of a blueprint for how to do it the right way?
Man, my whole thing with that is like I try to do a lot of consulting right now.
Okay.
I try to do, like, I ain't into the showcases right now and all these different things that do with these young boys or these young artists, or the young bulls, however, I haven't got into that. Because I don't like how it look. But then when they do come to my place, like I got a restaurant, cafe, that they come and they want to get a lot of information. And I sit down and I give them a lot of information. So that's my thing with these youngsters now. I try to just give them a lot of information and guide them in direction that I think they should be going in versus not being misguided.
Right.
And that's a lot of things. A lot of them is being misguided, and a lot of people not being honest with them to tell them what direction they need to go in or how to get to. Because some get so far and they get stuck. Now, man, you got to either go over that wall or go through that wall, but you got to get further than what you're going. And that's what I try to sit down with these young artists, and I try to be the example. I don't try to tell them nothing that I ain't never done before. I don't tell them try to send them somewhere I ain't never been. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing with dealing with these youngsters, man. I try to give them, direction of what direction they need to be going in and how to get to where they're trying to get. That's my whole thing, with dealing with them today. So, that's my vision of continuing to try to make them better and make this rap thing look better than what it looked. But I know one day I'm gonna be able to take my time to really focus on that again. I can't just put all of that on that right now, because it's like I got too many other things going on to continue to make money. And I'm seeing that it'll take me to spend more money than I make today. And right now I haven't found the artist that I can say that, man, I see a lot in you and I'm finna put a lot behind you, and we gon', and I don't want to tell no artist that until I know I can do this and say, man, this what we finna do, and this the direction we going in, and this the way I'm gonna take you. I'm not gonna play with the people craft, because they put a lot into it. And I'm not finna do like other guys I see doing, getting these guys money and can't get them what they need to get.
And that's real Spook, because I guess this also goes into my next question about the showcases and such. We had an artist from King's, hometown, in China Vaughn, and beautiful young lady and exceptionally talented. And she spoke about the open mics in reference to these showcases as to how, sometimes these showcases are nothing more than, really empty promises of false hopes, that there's really these artists never really get past that. And, it's, people got to understand that, it's not going to happen overnight if it's really going to happen in the right way. But showcases, myself personally, I have mixed feelings about, because I'm always about seeing people, they have talent to really show it off. But I believe showcases should be a perspective of you actually have a chance to really get out there on a major level. It's like high school, college, and then pro ball. Pro ball is when you actually are traveling, you're doing records, and you're really moving it. But high school is basically when you're just stuck in that lunchroom, rapping, but you're not going anywhere with it.
Yeah. See, this that was my whole thing. My whole thing with these showcases. And I got a friend that me and her talk a lot about a different thing. One is Bridget, lady named Bridget. Another one is Shantrey, who hooked me up with y'all on this thing. If I were to do a showcase, man, you have to have something to offer. Either I'm finna shoot you a video, finna do a photo shoot, finna give you some studio time. You're gonna get something. You finna be some DJs in the room that's finna tell you, okay, man, this record ain't no good record. I liked it. It's gonna be something you getting out of this. I don't care if it's constructive criticism. From constructive criticism to you're going to get something out this showcase. You ain't finna leave here paying to be on a showcase and then you just rapped in front of other artists.
Right.
Because the other artists, when they do their song, they gone.
Yeah, they crew gone too.
Versus sticking around to see what's finna be done. Because if you do a showcase, somebody got to win something. Somebody got to get something out of it. So if you leave, you ain't got. You must didn't want nothing. You just came to do what you did. Must knew you was some trash anyway, cause that's why you left. You didn't wait around to see that. Hey man, what we finna do for you? Cause you ain't finna know until the end of the night. You finna be told you gonna get critiqued after you finish. And then that's what I don't think is no critiquing going on now, man. I think that you need a little more work, homeboy. You all right, but listen at somebody else and ask yourself, is you good as him? Or is this record better than that record? You got to make these dudes or these females think to the point, I'm not that dope yet. versus saying, man, you dope, everybody clapping, and man, go sit down somewhere. Why you even here? And that's just how some of them is, man. Why you even here? And I done heard artists like that don't have no business there.
Their family got them there. Their family's in the audience.
Yep.
And you know, and the thing about it is, you know, because, you know, as I said earlier, you know, for people who really have a legitimate dream, you know, we talk about this all the time, you know, but there's also a situation. There are two elements that I would like to make clear to all of our listeners out there. Number one, you know, if a local artist isn't that good, it is not hate if you don't think they're that high. And local artists, it is not hate if they think you're not high. That means you have to get yourself to the place where your hometown is rocking with you. Secondly, not everybody is going to make it in terms of the music, because rap, at its purest form of innovation and creation and its thought of composition, is very intricate, intimate, and needs to be original. So you really have to come with something that resonates. And not everybody has that creative vein that they're going to be able to do it. It's like every, you know, nigga can't make it to the NFL or the NBA or the NHL. You know, not everybody's going to make it. So sometimes you do have to take a hard look at your music and think about, are you really at that pro level where you can get to, you know, superstar status? You know, and I think sometimes, Spook, a lot of people really don't understand that, you know, this is real life, you know, and there are situations where it's not, everybody can't win, you know, and that you do have to understand that after a while, you know, it may be a dream, but you got to stop chasing that dream because it's just not going to happen, you know. But I do have an issue with a lot of these promoters that, as you said, basically raping niggas' wallets, knowing damn well they're not going to really provide them with any real outlets, you know. I've seen situations like that out here in my area, you know, Hampton Roads, Virginia. You know, there's a lot of these showcases, but the artists don't really get anywhere. You know, it's like, and they're not even, it's not throwing shade at people, you know, but it's like, but I mean, they don't even get a lot of fanfare. You know, people don't even really be coming. I'm like, you know, these artists really don't have a buzz in the area. You know, to hear them tell it, they do. But I'm like, your YouTube videos and your attendance say otherwise.
Instagram.
You know, exactly. You know, before you're an artist, you have to have a real understanding of where you're at to grow your craft. You know, not pretend that you're big and you're not.
And that comes from people just, you know, not being honest with people, man. You know, they're not being honest with people, man.
People are very sensitive. But yeah, man, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. I know you got to get to doing what you got to do. We appreciate you taking this time to join us, my brother.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
I enjoyed y'all, man.
We enjoyed you, man. You gave us a lot of gems.
I enjoyed rapping
we appreciate
with you, brother,
you so much.
Yeah, I enjoyed rapping with you, brother. So, you
and,
know,
we appreciate.
Y'all just keep doing y'all thing, man. I'm going to start just listening. You know, because sometimes I might be sitting around not doing nothing. I can just sit back and, you know, soak up some of what y'all got to offer.
Man, look, we ain't going nowhere no time soon, man. So we appreciate you so much. And, you know, you're welcome back anytime. If there's any artists, you know, you want to bring on, you know, for us to chop it up with, we'd be more than happy, man. You know,
okay.
You know, anybody?
Yeah, I'll show.
Whatever they sell whatever they sold 5 records or 5 million, it don't matter. We treat them with the utmost equal respect.
Okay. Well, I got a couple of artists in mind that I have to bring on the show, man, cause they kind of need that. And
bring them. We love. Hey, you said they're hot. That's good enough for us. That's good enough.
Yeah, they dope. I just think they need they just need some more a little push behind them, put a little fire up on them. They'll be all right. So I'll be in contact.
Just send them here. We'll make it happen.
All right, one love.
And I also want to say a shout out to Sean Trey. She's one of the hardest working women in this game here, man. She's the one who made this connection happen in the first place.
Well,
Lady Trey, thank you.
Man, Trey had worked for me for years, man. And me and Trey still have a relationship to Trey really be like, when is he going to see who keep trying to push me out there and keep reminding me, hey, homeboy, all right. She keep reminding me of what I actually brought to the game. Cause I think I did things just not for selfish reasons. I did it for the love. You know, I did it for the love, and she have to always remind me, you know, what I brought to the industry, and I be like, well, I did that for the love, not cause I want recognition for it. And she be like, man, I don't think you really know what you did or what you brought. And, you know, that's who kind of always reminded me of, you know, the lineage and the legacy of what actually happened. You know, because, you know, sometimes, man, you just don't want to sit yourself up too high because that ain't what you did it for.
Right.
So, you know.
Yes, indeed, man. But we definitely appreciate you joining us, my man. I mean, I'm going to stay in touch with you and Trey, and we can bring these artists out because we're going to be having a lot of shows going down this summer. So we're going to make that happen.
Okay. For sure, man. Just keep me plugged in.
Yes, we will. Once again, thank you so much, Spook. Thank you.
All right. One love.
One love. And we remember your motto. You were born to apply pressure, not fold under it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You already know it. It's not on me. It's in me.
Yes.
All right.
All right, man. All right. God bless.
We're about to
Thank
sign
you.
up out of here. I got to get going myself. So, big shout out to OG Spook, Rap A Lot Records. Big shout out to Buddy Boy Entertainment, Da Vinci Clothing for supporting us. And we will be back next week. This is me, myself, King Eric the Great, a.k.a. Red Capo, signing out alongside with T-Max with the facts. We will be back same time, different week.
And always coming up with that win streak. We are out.
Pieces.
You.